Good Holy! My name is Janice Aragones together with my group mates Janeline Villacorte and Janmark Artiliano. We are going to discuss the agricultural method and pest management.
There are three different types of agricultural methods. One is organic agriculture or organic farming. Two is genetic engineering. And three is conventional agriculture. What is organic agriculture? Organic agriculture or organic farming can be defined as a system of management and agricultural production that combines a high level of biodiversity with environmental practices that preserve natural resources and has rigorous standards for animal welfare. Example of organic farming: unprocessed products like vegetables, cereals, fruits, cotton, flowers, animals, eggs, or milk. Processed products for human consumptions like cheese, bread, or instantaneous meals. Food for animals like organic soy cakes. Materials for vegetative production and seeds. Number 2, genetic engineering. Genetic engineering are the genetically modified organism or the GMOs. Genetic engineering is the direct manipulation of genetic material by artificial means for alter the hereditary traits of a cell or organism. The process can be involve the transfer of specific traits or genes from one organism to another, including across diverse species. Other types of genetic engineering include removing or the switching of certain genes, adding new genes, or introducing desired mutations. Organism that is created or modified by genetic engineering is called a genetically modified organism or the GMOs.
What is conventional agriculture? Conventional agriculture, or also known as industrial agriculture, refers to the farming system which include the system to use synthetic chemical fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, and other continual outputs. Genetically modified organism, concentrated animal feeding and operations, heavy irrigation, and concentrated to get the highest possible yield of crops. Conventional agriculture helps the farmers. Lesser cost, higher gains, more jobs opportunities, increase of food production, and lower cost of produce. But conventional agriculture causes increased greenhouse gas emission, soil erosion, water pollution, and threatens human health.
One of the major factors of high economic importance in agriculture is the pest. Pest is any entity that disturb or disrupt the normal growth of a plant or reduces the yield of the plant. Pests play a significant role in the yield and profit of any crop production enterprises. Pests are known to have deleterious effect on crop growth and yield. There are different types of pests in agriculture, so there is also a different method of pest control in agriculture. Considering the definition of a pest, example of pests are weeds, insects, and human activities. There are different types of pests that affect the healthy growth of crops. These are the Micropest and Macropes. Micropest. So micropests are those pests that are relatively smaller in size and their physical presence are quite difficult to notice. Their effects or activities in the farm make their presence felt. Examples are the armyworm, cutworm, and aphids. However, the macropests are pests that are relatively larger in size and their physical presence can easily be detected even before their activity on farm A good example is the rodent and sometimes the human. Considering the sizes of these pests, there are different types also of pest control methods that can be used to manipulate or to stop this kind of pest. So there are four major method of pest control. First is the physical method of pest control. Second is the chemical method of pest control. Third is the cultural method of pest control. And lastly, the biological method of pest control. First is the physical method of pest control. So this is one of the natural method of pest control. It is non-chemical pest control method. It involves physical detection of the pest presence and using different types and ways to evacuate them from the farm. This method of pest control is mostly used for macropests like rodents. So this method involves the use of traps, hunting, security men, alarms, and caricature and other scary and combative techniques to get rid of these pests. Using any of this method causes no harm to the crop and its consumer. This method is very effective in controlling macropests like grass cutter, giant rat, rabbit, and other rodents. This method is less expensive and requires less labor. Next is the chemical method of pest control. So this is the use of chemical substances, so mostly suffocants, to get rid of this pest from the farm. The chemicals are very poisonous and toxic compound. They are commonly mixed with water at the recommended rate before spraying on the foliage of leaves of the plants on different days before harvesting. So, this pest control method is commonly used to control micropests like aphids, armyworm, thrips, and etc. So the physical presence of this pest is difficult to detect, but their destructive effect can be observed as they multiply. Their effects are alarm the use of this control method and not their presence per se. The chemicals used are called pesticides and insecticides. The disadvantage of this chemical pest control method are the chemical compound can be retained in the crop and thereby impairing the health of the consumer also. Next, the cost of chemical is high, hence adding up to the cost of production. And lastly, it is labor intensive. So the third method is the cultural method of pest control. So it is also among the natural method of pest control. So cultural pest control method involves the use of various methodologies or techniques aimed at providing an unfavorable condition for the pest. So a good example of this method is the land preparation. Other examples are weeding, seed treatment, and etc. So this is one of the easiest method of pest control in agriculture. It is cost effectively and poses no threat to the health of both the consumer and the environment. So this is the last method of pest control. So this is the biological method of pest control. So this is the most technical pest control method in agriculture. So it involves the use of the natural enemy of the pest to prey them, like using the chicken to control the population of the grasshoppers and nematodes. It is also a combination of different methods of pest control to achieve the pest pest-free farm. It can also be called integrated pest management. It is technically and requires expertise. To achieve a better crop production, the farmer must devise the effective method of pest control. Irrespectively of the cropping season, pests are ubiquitous. Although the pests cannot be totally eradicated from the farm, they can be kept or managed below economic damage level. Thank you for listening. This is your reporter, Janice Aragones, together with my groupmate, Janeline Villacorte and Jean-Marc Arquiliano. Once again, good morning!